Today we'll be checking out Chris Brown's latest single. It's entitled Holy Blindfold. I'm intrigued to get into this, excited to see which direction he goes. A title like Holy Blindfold does bring a certain level of curiosity to me personally. So, definitely intrigued for this. This seems to be the start of a new era. Perhaps the album is coming later this year. I'm not sure, but yeah. I did hear the first 7 seconds of this where he snippeted, where he released a snippet of it probably a week or two ago. But I was impressed by that. So I'm definitely intrigued to see where this track goes, if it follows suit or if there's a massive switch up. Yeah, so definitely excited for this. So let's just dive right into it. Lost and I can't find my center. Hold on. I think I'll need to run this back. Lost and I can't find my center. Oh, can't help it. All right. That was brief because this is the intro section. That was the. It's like that's absolutely beautiful, but it's a lot shorter than I anticipated. And now I'm seeing that the track is like 2 minutes 50. Okay. I won't pause again this time. Let's go. Lost and I can't find my center. Oh, can't help the skelter in my chest. Ooh, you're on, survive my shelter. Only way I sleep through my unrest. Let the sky roll. If I'm looking at you, then my lens are rose. Holy blindfold. When I'm looking at you, you got rest my soul. Feel like I saw the light. Feel like. Sex like the. All right. Yeah, I will say it's a fusion of R&B, but it's like that upbeat 90s R&B, something you'd hear from like a new edition. It's kind of like what the percussive side of the beat reminds me of. I can hear probably like Michael doing something like this back in the 90s also. Yeah, new edition SWV, Bobby Brown, yeah. Percussion wise, that's what the beat gives me in the realm of R&B. But there are definitely pop elements here, especially when it gets to that. Um, I want to label it as it's a post chorus, right? Or a refrain that. Yeah, I think the melody goes something similar to that. Yeah, that's definitely rooted more in like a pop riff per se. I did enjoy that, and lyrically, okay. I do like where this is heading. He's saying like he's lost and he wants to find his center and so forth. I'm gonna run it back definitely. I might have to give this 2 listens. But yeah, so far I do like this. And that there was definitely this harmonic section after that, which was kind of caught me off guard. I think what they did was tack it and added a additional octave higher than where he was then. It worked well. Let me take it back a bit. Yes, it's like that, right? Yeah, something similar to that.
Sex like the rain in the desert. She blazing hot as embers. Euphoric touch, I'm floating away. And watch the air stop, that sun drop, dead oceans. The heat dry out the river. I don't care if the world going crazy. Let the sky blow. If I'm looking at you, then my name
Harmony.
Holy blindfold. When I'm looking at you, you got rest my soul. Feel like I saw the light. Feel like God rest my soul. Oh yeah, God rest my soul. Yeah. Let the sky fall. If I'm looking at you, then my name is the rose. Yeah. Holy blindfold. When I'm looking at you, you got rest my soul. Feel like I saw the light. Feel like when I'm looking at you, you got rest my soul.
So, so, charisma. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Initially, there's a lot going on. There's so much going on. It's a very short song, though. That's gonna be my biggest complaint. I think the intro should have been a little longer. This song should be over 3 minutes, no doubt. Um, but yeah, the way the harmony stack, I love towards the end where they added this additional synth. It's like a stringed synth lead, and it's just playing singular notes. So it's like the sky, oh, looking at na, 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 and it adds so much texture and character to it. Holy fall. Na, 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 na. Yeah, so it's very simple, but it adds so much additional texture to it, and I do love some of the overlays that he was doing vocally, run wise. So yeah, it's dope. I do think I prefer the first verse as opposed to the second one, just because Chris has this inability to not. Y'all know what where my complaint with that second verse lies. I don't think I need to get overtly into that, but I want to give it another listen.
my center. Hope can't help the skelter in my chest. Ooh, your arms provide my shelter. Only way I sleep through my unrest.
Does it say, ooh, your arms provide the shelter. Only way I can see through my unrest.
Hope can't help the skelter in my chest. Ooh, your arms provide my shelter. Only way I sleep through my unrest. Let the sky roll. If I'm looking at you, then my lens are rose. Holy blindfold. When I'm looking at you, you got rest my soul. Feel like I saw the light. Feel like.
Right, all right. My thoughts. It's like you remember that song where Michael was saying like, "If the angels came for me, I'd tell them why." I think like this gives me hints of that. It's definitely done totally different, but it's like Chris is he's done this before. I think sometimes on Indigo, where he ties his spirituality to his earthly desires for a woman or a companion. But I do like some of the use of dialect on here where he's like, let the sky fall when I'm looking at you. I think he says my lens is froze or my lens is a rose. Something along the lines of that. I I do like the analogy there. And with the title Holy Blindfold, I think it does it ties into it because he does I mean, when I'm looking at you, the lens, Holy Blindfold, his if he says froze, you could picture it like they're frozen in time or it's a moment he doesn't want to let go of. It's something that he would cherish with him for a lifetime. Let's say for instance like a picture of a moment does last a lifetime. That's assuming he says froze. If he says his lens is a rose, I mean that's still a really good line because essentially he's referring to her as a rose because that's what he sees through his lens when he looks at her. So either way, I think it works and it's good writing. Yeah. So essentially, that's why I think the first verse is a little stronger lyrically for me.
Sex like the rain in the desert. She blazing hot as embers. Euphoric touch, I'm floating away. And watch the air stop, that sun drop, dead
Hold
ocean.
on. Okay. Comparing their lovemaking to the seasons. I, I can respect that. I like some of the use of language again.
December's euphoric touch, I'm floating away. And watch the air stop.
So comparing himself to burning wood, so much so that he's floating away. So you know those strips if you light a wooden fire. Yeah. Okay.
That sun drop, dead oceans. The heat dry out the river. I don't care if the world going crazy. Let the sky roll. If I'm looking at you, then my lens is a rose. Holy blindfold. When I'm looking at you, you got rest my soul.
I do
Feel
the
like I
texture.
saw the light. Feel like. God rest my soul. Ooh, yeah. God rest my soul, yeah. Let the sky fall.
Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, I do see this getting way higher though. I might come back in a week and say this is amazing. I mean, I've only listened to the song twice, but there's a lot to like. I don't really think there's anything much to critique. In a perfect world, I wish he didn't have that line about her sex is like a fire or something like that. Just because I feel like when he gets to that use of language, he's just a bit too straightforward, a bit too blunt, and it's just something that he sings about quite a lot. So I don't think it was a necessity, but I don't think he stays there too long that it takes away from the song. So if I had a critique, it would just be that. But I do like this. I think the bass line is solid. I love those little moments where the beat pretty much faded out or had a crescendo, and then we just heard like a little bass riff from that guitar. So that was pretty dope. And I think overall the most impressive part of this song for me, coming from Chris, is the strings. The strings, because it's like four different sets of strings that I'm hearing. I'm hearing a string which is dual with like uh vocal effect from a choir, which is similar to what I was playing. So he has that, but he also has more of a traditional, almost film-esque movie type of string, which goes like. And then there were a couple of different variations with other strings playing over top. I think it's kind of like a fusion of a string with a brass for the latter section, which what I was referring to as the singular note strings, which I think was really dope. So yeah, a lot to like about this song.